Nick Durant here with Tattoo University, and today I'm going to respond to a question I had about using coconut oil during a tattoo, or what do I use during a tattoo? The trend right now is using coconut oil as a lubricant while you tattoo. Now the problem is that coconut oil is one of those things we found that might work better for a tattoo. When you get coconut oil though, it doesn't come for tattooing. It comes like this for cooking, and it's used to cook with. And it's not really processed in a way that you can use it for tattooing. It's a little flaky when you get it out. It will melt. Right now it's solid. It looks kind of like a snow cone or something. It looks kind of like a snow cone right now, but as it warms up, it will melt into a liquid. So people have chosen to use the coconut oil, but they're finding this information out. They're finding out that it's not really made for tattooing. What can you do to the coconut oil if that's what you choose to use on your tattoo? So usually what you do is you put a little bit of ointment right here, and you dip your pinky in it, and you use that to clean up the area so you don't have a lot of ink and a lot of mess. And you can see with the coconut oil, as soon as it heats up to room temperature and my body heat heats it up, it just turns into a liquid. And the reason why you can't use a liquid is because it's hard to control. Vitamin E is also something very good that you can use on tattoos, but the problem is it is a liquid and you cannot control it. If I tried to put this on my glove here, it's just going to run all over the place. And usually you would put your ointment on your station here, and you can see very quickly that it soaks up into your protective barrier here. So you can't really use something like this, even though this would be a great product for tattooing. This is the process that I came up with to alleviate this problem and to help people out. I would use real shea butter. You can order it online. The reason why I went with this product is because I went down to the store and was able to pick it up right away. This is Palmer's Shea Butter Raw Shea Balm, and it has vitamin E in it. And if you look at the ingredients, it's mostly shea butter. But like I don't like to add a lot of ingredients to the stuff I use. This has other ingredients. So if you have the chance to, you want to get the raw shea butter that is just shea butter. And you can order that online. So what you want to do is take a small amount of this and place it on your station so you can use it while you're tattooing. And you can take a little bit of this and put it on your glove. You can see that this mix will stay solid longer, and I can control this more. But at the same time, when I need to use it, it will melt and get to the consistency that I need. So while you're tattooing, you have this. And if you use a dry paper towel and try to remove this, you just smear it all over the place. And if you have a tattoo stencil there and you keep wiping on this, you're gonna wipe off your stencil. This is a big problem you guys have with your stencils. The solution is to use a little bit of the coconut oil shea butter mix, and you're gonna lay that down. Use a little soap and water on your paper towel with a little bit of the coconut oil mix, and then we remove that without removing our stencil. That is a lot easier to remove. Again, take a little bit of this, add it on there, a little bit of soap and water, and off it comes. Without the hassle, I'm not scrubbing this. I'm not going like this. That will remove your stencil. When you're tattooing, this helps the needle and your hand glide across the skin while you're tattooing. And then when you need to remove the excess ink, you follow through with a paper towel that has a little soap and water on it. Not green soap with alcohol in it, just soap and water. The advantage to doing this is you have better control of the coconut oil and you have a lot more product. This container is actually the product that I mixed. I just reused the container. I still have over half a container of coconut oil left. The shea butter cost about $7. The coconut oil costs about $7. For $14, I made this much of the ointment that I can use, because every time I tattoo, I'm going to use about that much. You can see that this is going to last me a really long time for a fraction of the cost that you're going to spend buying it from someone else. The reason why these cost so much is the shipping. It's getting it where you need it. Tattoo companies are really small. They're not in a lot of areas. Some of you who live really far away from the places where these are made pay a really big price to get these products. And the cost is for the shipping of the product. The reason why I went with this and this is because I went down to the store and I bought these. And I made these for cheap. And this is a good product that will last you a really long time. And it was a fraction of the cost. And I can still make more when I need to. I actually made more than this, but this is also really good on your skin. You can put this in your beard. You can use this as hand lotion. It is really thick and goes a really long way. The extra that I had for this, I gave to my wife. And she can use it on whatever she needs to use it on. It has multiple purposes. Go online and do the research. You will find out that shea butter is actually good for healing wounds, and it helps wounds heal. It helps the skin during the process of healing. So what you could do is mix some of this for the tattooing process and also use it for aftercare. And the coconut oil is actually a natural preservative. So it will keep funky things from growing in that mix, so it will last a lot longer. And it's better for you than the petroleum products. This is how we're going to solve the problem with the coconut oil so we can use it. We take our shea butter and we're going to use whatever we use with the shea butter. We're going to add half of that amount with the coconut oil. So for every 2 scoops of shea butter, I'm going to use 1 scoop of coconut oil. So we have 6 scoops of the shea butter. I'm going to add 3 scoops of the coconut oil. Now what we're going to do is get a separate pot with some water in it, and we're going to turn that up, get that nice and hot. Now this pot's going to sit right in top here, and we are just going to wait for this to mix together, and all of this is going to turn to a liquid, and we're going to mix it together. So we're going to keep doing this until we get all the chunks out of here. We want everything to be mixed together, nothing separated. And everything's going to be liquid in the bottom of the pan. And once that happens, we're going to remove it from the heat and mix it up. Because I'm a little impatient, I'm going to remove it from the heat, let it cool down to room temperature, and then I'm going to put it in the freezer, make it cool off even quicker. So as this starts to cool off, you will see it will start getting this milky consistency to it, and it'll harden up. But this still isn't done. We want to wait until it actually starts to look white, and then we're going to start blending this up some more. So we're going to use a blender here, and we're going to start blending this up. And you can see when it's not quite ready, it still kind of looks like yogurt or something. So if it's the consistency of snot, it's not ready yet. You can mix it up, but you need to freeze it a little bit more until it turns that milky white color. And then once it's frozen, you start blending up, and it starts looking more like whipped cream. It'll start whipping up. I've mixed it a couple of times and we're still waiting for it to set up. So I have a couple of minutes here, so let me just explain a couple of things to you. If you're looking for this Palmer shea butter, you have to go to this section if you live in America in Walmart or in the store where they sell a lot of products for black people. You'll find a lot of great stuff while you're there. A lot of that is olive oil, shea butter, coconut oil stuff. All of that stuff is great for your skin. So that's where you want to look to find this kind of stuff. And it's probably cheaper if you order it online, depending on where you're at. Or if you can get the straight shea butter online. But the reason why I went with this was just so I could show you guys that I can go down the store and get what I need to make this. The coconut oil you can find in the grocery store. Usually find it where they're selling oils or cake stuff. You can add glycerin to the mix if you want to, a little dash of glycerin or a little bit of the vitamin E. So coconut is a natural preservative. So oils you can add to things to keep it from growing mold and make it last a lot longer. This is why Twinkies last so long, because they have so much preservatives in them. Glycerin will keep things from growing in your ointment. So if there's not enough preservatives in this, if you think you're going to use this up really quick, you don't need to add any of this. But if you think you're going to mix a bunch of this and just have it laying around, you could add a little dash of glycerin just to make sure that it doesn't start growing mold. Because you don't want to use something on somebody that's growing mold. This will also make things a little more moist. So if you want your mix to be a little runnier, a little less solid, you can add a little bit of this to the mix, or you can add a little bit of the vitamin E to change the consistency of the mix. Here we got it out of the freezer again. You can see it's starting to look a little more white, it's starting to look like the coconut oil again. So now let's blend this up and see what happens. We're still not there. It's a waiting game with this. Let's pop it back in the freezer. So you know it's good when you start to see it whip up and stay solid like this. You don't want it runny. You want to turn it into more of a whipped cream than a snot consistency. So once you see it starting to look like this, you're on the right track. Just keep going and blend it all up. Once we get this consistency, we're good. Because now we can use this while we are tattooing.